Okay, so today we are setting up our sketchbooks. Think of it as a guided journal or a workbook for art. So don't fill this up with all of your free choice sketches. I have paper, we can make a separate book for that because this is like your notebook, your workbook for this class. All right, so write your name on the cover, decorate the cover however you like. I don't have any plans for that. On the inside, this first page is going to be our index. Write small so you have room to add to it as the year goes on. This index is modeled after the bullet journal system. So instead of a table of contents where everything is perfectly in order, an index, we're just going to write titles or topics like value. So, value we are going to do something with on pages 7 and 8. But let's say later in the year we do another activity about value on page 20. So then you can just put a comma and add 20 instead of creating a whole nother entry. All right, so this is page 0. Here's page 1, page 2. It goes across the crease. Pretend the crease isn't there. This is just one piece of paper. So this is a calendar. We are going to do bell ringers on this. So month of September started on Wednesday. Notice Wednesday goes across the crease. So each day, starting tomorrow, Friday, I'm going to have a short prompt on the board or on the class stream if you are working from home. And you're going to draw me a little picture or design according to that day's prompt. And we'll do one of those each day. Next page is September choice. So this is a free choice drawing. You get to pick what you draw. You will do one per month, and you're going to work on it a little bit each week. You're not going to do the entire thing start to finish in one sitting. This is a long-term progression. So about halfway through the month, around the 15th, we are going to have an in-progress critique. So it started, but it's not finished. You are going to say one thing that is working and one thing that could improve. And then you're going to trade with another classmate, and they are going to tell you one thing they think is working really well and one thing they think needs to be improved. And then at the end of the month, when you finish it, we're going to do the same thing for a final critique. Oops, sorry, my pages are slightly out of order. Next in your book, pages 5 and 6, this is an activity that we are going to do tomorrow. So this page says from memory, blind contour, 2-minute observational, and a little slogan, draw what you see, not what you know, which I will explain that tomorrow when we do the activity. And then page 7 and 8, pretend this is in order. Shading techniques on the left here. So you're going to divide it into 5 sections. There's 5 different techniques we are going to review. And then still life value. So we're going to do a drawing of still life on the right here. Okay, now in Google Classroom, there is a PDF, and I have drawn the measurements for you. All right, so this is a 3/4 inch border at the top, 1 1/8 inch border. These squares are 1 3/4 inch wide and 1.5 inches tall for the center. All right, so that's your calendar. The September choice, you've got a 1.5 inch border on the left and on the right. These are divided in 2 inches. I would measure from the bottom up to another 2, another 2, and another 2. And that leaves just a small 1/4 inch heading for you to write in prog critique, which is just an abbreviation for in progress critique. And then you'll do the same on the right, except write final critique. And this one, I don't really care about the measurements. Divide this side generally in half, and this side just leave a box at the bottom and write the slogan in it. And then the shading techniques. So half of this page is at 2 3/4 inches. So if you just draw a halfway point all the way down and then leave a header, mark this in half, more or less, and then add another square in the center so that you have 5 sections. The measurements don't have to be perfect on this one, as long as you have 5 sections and a header. And then still life is just a header. And that's all we have so far. All right. Using a ruler. Okay, so these are my new rulers we have in class. Do not bend them, be nice to them. The lines, the markings are etched in it so they won't rub off. Now, this has inches on one side and then it says metric on the other. So that's centimeters. So make sure you are using the correct side of the ruler. This one is a little bit different than most rulers. The first inch and the last inch at the other end have extra marks in them. So they divided it into 30 seconds. So there are 32 lines here, 32 sections of this 1 inch. The rest of the ruler is just marked down to the 16th. So each one of these little lines is 1/16 of an inch. If you count, there are 1, 2, 3, moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is the halfway because half of 16 is 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 sixteenths in 1 inch. So the longest mark in between the whole numbers is your half-inch marker. Then if you divide that in half again, the next longest one, that's your 1/4 inch. So there's 1/4, 2/4 is half, 3/4, and then 4/4 is a whole inch. Half of a quarter is 1/8. So this line right here, right above where it says 1/16 is 1/8. So this 1/16 isn't labeling this mark, it's just labeling what each of these lines are from moving on. So that's a little bit confusing. This is 1/8. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. The smallest one is 1/16. So 2/16 is 1/8. 2/16 is 1/8. All right. So be careful that you are reading your ruler correctly. Also note that 0 is not the edge of the ruler. 0 is this very first line. All right. Now to make a line that is parallel to the edge of the page, you need to make 2 points. So let's say, just for practice, I need a line that is 1 1/8 inches from the edge, straight line, vertical. So I'm going to measure 1 1/8 or 2/16 from the edge and make a little mark. Now, if I just try and draw my line from that one point, it's not going to be parallel to the edge of the page because from this one point, my ruler can be at any angle and it's still on that one dot. It's not going to be parallel. So to make a perfectly straight parallel line, you need to measure 2 points. So there's 1 1/8. Now I'm going to just move my ruler down a little bit and mark 1 1/8 again. Now I have 2 points. I can line my ruler up on there and connect. Notice, so I am right-handed, so I am putting my ruler on the left side of the paper and holding it with my left hand. I've spread my fingers so my ruler isn't going to wobble on me, and I'm pressing down a little bit. Notice also that my fingers are fully behind the edge of the ruler. I'm fully on top of the ruler. If my finger's sticking out even just a little bit, when I draw my line, I'm going to get a bump in it from where my finger was. Let me draw that dark so you can see right there. That's not a straight line. So lining it up on the left side of the dots, holding it with my left hand, and then I don't have to apply a lot of pressure. I'm just going to lightly drag my pencil along the edge of the ruler. And now I have a perfectly straight line, perfectly parallel to the edge. All right, so if I measure it here, it's 1 1/8. If I measure it way up here, it's still 1 1/8. That is parallel. If you are left-handed, okay, let's make a line 1 inch over from that line. So there's 1 inch and mark it again, 1 inch. Okay, so if you're left-handed, you're going to line the ruler up on the right side of your marks. There's my marks there and there. And hold it with my right hand and then drag your pencil along. You don't want to try and cross your arms and drag your pencil around the other side or like in between your fingers, because it's just awkward and you're making it more difficult than it needs to be. So that is how you use a ruler. Ignore that announcement. Let's see, this page is a great example, the choice page. So I needed a line here and here. So that was 2, another 2 is 4 inches, another 2 is 6 inches. So I marked 6 inches over here, but then I went over to the other side and marked 6 inches over here. And then I pressed my book open as flat as I could. That is the nice thing about having this kind of binding. It's not spiral, so it can open totally flat. And I line my ruler up, and I'm just going to pull there. But when I get to this line right here, I'm going to pick up and skip the middle and start again at the line on the other side to the edge. So there's my line without having to erase, because the center part here is where your drawing for your choice assignment is going to be for September. We will talk more about this assignment, all of these assignments, tomorrow as they come up. Today, we're just setting up our book. I number the corners, so this is page 0. You don't necessarily need to go 1, 2. It's a lot faster if you just go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Just count by 2s on the corners. Just be careful you don't skip a page instead of having to actually open it up all the way and label each side. Because if this is page 12, I know that this is page 11. I don't have to write both of them unless you just want to. All right, so this PDF with the measurements written on it is in Google Classroom.